Hello guys, welcome to Anime Misconceptions episode 5, primarily starting with the idea that we're talking Yu Yu Hakusho destructive capacity. If you are opposed to the idea of these characters being above country level though, as a disclaimer, you will have to leave because this video is not for you, especially if you enjoy downplaying or arguing semantics. Now, let's continue with the video. Hello guys, it is your host Atari here today, and I'm going to be walking you through and explaining to you the possibilities and destructive capacity of Yu Yu Hakusho characters. Now, let's start with the bare minimum of the E class, who's about human level but are very violent. We then have D class, which the best feat we've seen by Goki is about tree level. Then we have C class, which by Shusaku is about building level, going off the inferences of him using the lightning. Then we have B class, which is about, well, island level based on this scan right here. And then we have A class, which is stated to be country level by the Spirit Force, as well as implied by Genkai to be about country level. So now that we have this understanding, we could say that they're about Japan level, etc. And that the list is pretty big in terms of the gaps of power. You see how astronomical it gets, you know. But then we have another part where S class, Sensui being planetary. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, how could he be planetary? Well, I actually have some confirmation. Thanks to Cutie Pie God giving me some scans in terms of helping me translate the actual Japanese, it would actually imply that since we said, in human world, I can't use more than half of my power, which would imply two things. Number one, in human world he can't use it because human world is restricting him from releasing it, or B, he's worried about destroying it. So we know it is a B because Yusuke does say you want to destroy the world anyway, so go ahead and do it. And Sensui says you're as blind as the rest, because Sensui is basically saying he doesn't want to destroy all life, primarily of just all life in general, or the surface level of the earth. He doesn't want to destroy the planet as a whole, and we have details about this from 4 sources. Number 1, Koenma does state that in episode 71 an S class would be devastation to the whole world, or the whole living world, for just one, and that's a low S class. Number 2, we do also get confirmation that Genkai says you can blow up the whole world and I wouldn't have the power to stop you, when this Yusuke was already in S class, and Genkai would not cause a form of hyperbole. We do know Sensui wouldn't cause hyperbole, and since Sensui's talking about human world, he does state in the English dub he loves the birds, the trees, the bees, and wildlife, including the ocean and the sky. So this would include most of the mass of the earth, which if you calculate it from that perspective, he's basically saying core busting or destroying the entire planet, obliterating it into small little pebbles. Yes, that is Sensui's power at 50%, and therefore, based on Yoshio Tagashi's writing style, it is more than likely this is the case, because unlike Toriyama, he may be vague, but when he wants something to be taken seriously, he creates the proper atmosphere, at least in Tagashi's writing style. Now that we have this understanding, let's not argue semantics here. We'll say for the high end, he's talking about the planet level, at 50% of his power, which is he's planet level times 2. But now we gotta start scaling other characters, because this is about the potential of their destructive capacity. Well, let's go a little bit further by saying that we do know that Sachi-dono in the manga adaptation is a 37,800. Now, why am I using him as an example? Well, he is stronger than Jin, Rinku, Shishirakumaru, and many others as shown. But in the anime adaptation, their Yoki levels are relatively high, so it's very hard to give an argument for that. However, we can give a rough estimate, and I'll be showing you how I'm gonna do that. And I'm doing that by using one of the statements by Makuro, where she said that despite Shigure being in S class, in chapter 159 of the manga of her inner circle, he's still the weakest out of the 77 elite. Hiei was also an S class at this time, and we can at least infer Hiei being an S class was around Sensui level, since Sensui was bare minimum a low S class, not very high, but nevertheless was an S class. Then we can compare someone like Hokushin, who was able to defeat Yusuke, even suppressed as a D class. Yes, the Yusuke he fought at this time was also an S class, as remember, he was A class when he died, but S class when he resurrected.
Sure as hell wouldn't want to be in your shoes if I were less than D class demon.
I cannot remove this until I return to Demon World. But given your power, I can leave it and still beat you.
So, the best argument I can come to a surmise with would be to say this. Sachi-dono is about 2 times stronger than the low S classes such as Hiei and Shigure. Why am I saying 2 times? it could be bigger because we don't actually have pure numbers for how weak or how big the gap differences was from the other 77, but we know that given Kieran's power or yoke level being 89,500, we can bare minimally assume that the difference with Sachi-dono and the others is about a 2 times difference, and that would imply that Sachi-dono is about 2 times stronger than what Sensui was, or Hiei and Shigure. This is quite a low ball, but it's the best we can use. I'd like to also state that in the anime, Jin and the others reach 100,000 in terms of the yoki level, and the yoki level in the anime is a little bit more confusing. But Yusuke being a 219,000 is actually accurate because Yusuke does defeat Hokushin and the other 3 monks all at the same time. So Yusuke's 200,019 in the anime is more so accurate. It doesn't really deteriorate from the actual scales because later we do have confirmation of the other king's yoki levels. But for the bare minimum, going off of someone like Hokushin, we can imply that the difference between him and Kieran is about 2.4. So by 2.4 times difference, and the fact that, you know, Hokushin is about planetary times 4 since he's 2 times stronger than Sensui as well as Sachi-dono, then Kieran would be 9.6 times planetary. And that's quite impressive, but we're not done yet. We have to also use Yusuke's yoki level as well, and if we use Yusuke's yoki level in the anime and divide it by Kieran's, we know the Yusuke is 2.2 times stronger. So if Yusuke is 2.2 times stronger than someone like Sorcerer Kieran, then we know that Yusuke is bare minimum about 21 times planetary. So Kieran is already large planetary and Yusuke is now in the multi-planetary ranges. But how strong is someone like Mukuro? Well, we know that Mukuro, Yomi, and Ryzen all have insane yoki levels. But let's start with Mukuro by saying she has a 1,575,000 yoki level, and as a result would make her at least the bare minimum 7.8 times stronger than Yusuke. And if she's 7.8 times stronger than Yusuke, then we just do the mathematics and plug in the formula, which makes her about 164.7 times planetary, which at bare minimum is dwarf star level, if you want to say that, or very hyper large planetary, but basically dwarf star level is the more safer route. Thank you guys for watching though. This has been Atari. Yes, guys, I know a lot of this sounds like a lot to take in, but for the most part, it's very much implied by Tageshi's writing style, and since it's shown in fiction anyway, they're not, if they say someone's planetary, they're basically implying they're planetary. There's no need to say only surface level. Surface level will be implied if it's in the actual context. When they say planet level, the writers are basically like, we're talking planet level, not just civilization, guys. There's no need to argue with semantics in order to lowball, but for the sake of having it as a middle ground, we'll say that the low end Sensui was surface level, but given by Tageshi's writing style, at the high end we have him at 2 times planetary. And as a scale, this puts other characters like Mukuro at dwarf star level, and potentially Ryzen in his prime, as implied by the anime, being stronger than all of his friends combined, if we take that literally, would be more than about 1,000 times planetary, which is star level around that level. But that's if you really want to take, you know, Ikki statement seriously. But I would say Ikki statement's kind of a hyperbole for the most part. But if you do take it seriously, then yes, you can take a prime Ryzen to star level. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope this made a lot more sense to you than the last video, instead of using all those a bunch of numbers and such. But for the most part, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate your help and support. Give a like and subscribe. And for more content on giving anime such as destructive capacity, which is something I'm best at, as well as speed feats, which I'm learning to do speed feats a little bit better, or other contexts such as scientific lore like string theory, just let me know and I'll do a video on it on any anime verse you want. Maybe next I might do One Piece, but for now, we have this what it is, and the video is getting long enough. But thank you guys for watching. Atari out.